So now arrogant human scientists today are hacking the code of genetics. They are hacking the divine code of information transmission that we've all been gifted with. Really, GMO scientists are hackers of the divine code of the cosmos. And they're dark hat hackers. They're evil hackers. When we reject the reality of where we came from and how this cosmos came to be and how life is sustained on this planet, that's when we get into trouble, and that's when we, as a civilization, begin to self-destruct. I've called humanity, as it is practiced today, a suicide cult. Just recently, there was fascinating archaeological evidence of very tall, giant humans that lived relatively recently, and that has been rejected by the scientific establishment. They don't want to talk about giants or people that don't fit the narrative. Anything outside the box is discarded.
How tall were these skeletons?
Well, depending on which version you want to believe, anywhere from 7 to 12 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
So a 7 foot tall person, you might not say that's a giant. You might say that's just a really tall human. But you start getting up to 8, 9 feet tall, you got to start asking some questions. But the bigger issue I see today that's shortening lifespan is, of course, the toxicity of the world in which we live. Now, 100 years ago, the average lifespan was much shorter because of so much infant death, because of a lack of cleanliness, a lack of just running water or sanitation systems. So the fact that we have clean water and you can flush a toilet, that alone greatly boosts the average lifespan. But the lifespan of adults who survive childhood used to be much, much longer than it is today, because people are dying of cancer and diabetes and heart disease. When people die at the age of 75 or 80 today, most of the population thinks they lived a long life. I think they lived a short life, because humans used to live much longer and are capable of living much longer. And interestingly, chemotherapy is, from a biblical point of view, chemotherapy is a sin. To poison your body and call it medicine clearly is a sin. And we now know that chemotherapy spreads cancer all across the body. New recent research has shown this, that when you dose someone with chemotherapy, it causes cancer to spread. So you have more cancers in more locations around the body, and it's almost always fatal. This is why cancer almost always comes back after a chemotherapy treatment, because you committed really a chemical sin on your body. When you undergo chemotherapy, you're committing suicide through chemicals, and you are experiencing what the Bible talks about in terms of, the wages of sin. It's right there. It's all written right there, and yet people miss it every day, and they commit suicide through chemotherapy every day. And then there are the drug blood junkies. There are people injecting themselves today with a combination of heroin and human blood. Did you know that?
No.
Oh yeah. We've covered this as well. It's a big new thing in the drug world, to add another level of high to their injections, mostly heroin, but sometimes people do blood with meth. People do blood with cocaine.
Why do they do that?
Because they say it gives them an extra high. I mean, the stuff gets really, really sick. I mean, we're talking about, cannibalism. We're talking about bloodletting of human slaves. Right, and look, I have a real issue with people who go to chemotherapy. They choose to poison their body, and then they ask God to heal them. And often they are killed by the chemotherapy, and they ask, well, why didn't God answer my prayers? The truth is, God did answer your prayers, but His answers aren't found in the oncology center. His answers are found probably in the back field behind the parking lot behind the cancer center, where all the plants are growing that have the cancer cures, all of the molecules offered for free by Mother Nature that you can collect for free that can cure your cancer, all the lifestyle changes that are readily available to you. That's the answer to your prayers. In other words, your prayers were already answered before you even stepped foot into that cancer center. Everything that you need to heal already exists, and it has existed since the day you were conceived.